DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, I hope that you are all well. Today is Saturday, and yeah, it's still another weekend of confinement, as they like to call it. A little bit, I was going to say a little bit of good news is that we are, at least in Switzerland, going slowly towards what they call the easing off. Now that doesn't mean that we have to change our habits for the next few weeks with this effing virus. No, actually we have to do the same thing, the famous, sorry, some vloggers itch, the same social distancing and all that. But what it is that we've seemingly reached a peak, and the famous curve is not only flat, it's going down slowly, which is good. But, it all depends. It all depends what's going to happen in the next few days, I'd say, because last weekend was Easter, so it doesn't seem that, the usual 5 days where they say it can go up. And by the way, if I sneeze, it's not the virus. I've got hay fever right now, or pollen. Excuse me. Yeah. And that is a typical sneeze. Yeah, anyway, so we were way ahead, at least as far as North America is concerned, at least probably close to a month ahead, I think. At least 2 weeks anyway, where I'd be interrupting myself. Yeah, so slowly things are going to stop. They've got a 3-pronged plan over almost a month and a half or something like that, where they'll start opening businesses up slowly. Still no public gatherings, stuff like that. 5 people is the maximum for what they call a public gathering. And it's not well seen anyway. And when you're 5, it's still 5 people with the famous 2 meters of difference, or 6 feet of distance between each other. Sorry, I've been outside all morning. I didn't sneeze. Now I'm on a vlog, and that's doing it. Yeah. So things are coming along slowly, but they will be opening schools up, primary schools, in a month, and that is creating a lot of havoc, because for a few things, our teachers are thinking that are we going to be the babysitters so that the parents can get back to work, which is probably the case. But as you can imagine, they're telling the people in the schools to keep the distances. What about the teachers? Sorry about that. I really have all of a sudden a bad case of allergies this afternoon. Yeah. And so, what's going to happen? How are we going to do it? I'm glad I'm not a teacher, actually, in that respect. So this morning I did my tasks around here, mowed the lawn, and I did a bit of spraying, because we have some type of white worms that get into the garden. And I've got a spray, the same type of spray that they use actually on sports grounds for things like that, where there's no artificial turf, of course. And so I'm using that, and it seemed to work pretty well last year, because these things, these white kind of, they become like a kind of a ugly, almost caterpillar type thing. It's more like I say they're white worms, but they're more like caterpillars almost in a way, and they kind of become flying bugs. You wouldn't like to see them. They're not bite or anything, but they're just an annoyance, and they don't do any good actually to the lawn and so on. Somebody somewhere over there is making some noise. I don't know what they're doing. I can't see. Oh, jeez, I'm so sorry about that, actually. I wish I wasn't quite blowing my nose in the same way. It's going to be called, I should call it the nose blowing vlog. So two things happened this week, though, that were rather embarrassing. Did I talk about one last week? Maybe not. About meeting up with the neighbor. I don't think I did, actually, so I'll say it again. Sorry if I already said it. We had noticed for a while that we hadn't seen we have an elderly couple, they're in their 80s, that live behind us, and we hadn't seen the man for quite a while. And Mrs. DC said, well, we knew he had heart trouble. We thought, well, maybe he's been placed in a seniors residence. Who knows? We didn't see anything, mentioning that he'd passed away from the coronavirus. Well, the thing was, is I spoke with the lady. The lady actually was on her. We hadn't seen her for a long time either. But when I saw her on her balcony over there, I yelled out and asked how she was doing, and she says, "Oh, I'm doing pretty well, but it's been almost a year." And I thought, almost a year? I didn't say anything. I was thinking in my head, almost a year to what? Oh my goodness, didn't we not notice what went on? And so I went into the archives of the newspapers and to the obituaries and found that actually her husband had passed away sometimes in March. Was it March? March or May, anyway. And when I read that, I said, how could we have missed that? I think it was May. Yeah, it was May. And I thought, like, how could we have missed that? And then I checked into our own diary, and we were away on a vacation, Mrs. DC and I, so that we had not actually noticed it in the newspapers, and nobody around had left anything. Usually, people, if something like that happens in the neighborhood, they might leave a little note in your mailbox, just saying it or something. But we had not seen the obituary, so I felt like a real heel, because we had never made any comment to them one way or another, saying our sympathies or whatever. I mean, so they must have thought, what cads? I don't know. Anyway, but she spoke to me really normal and nice as usual. So I don't know. But anyway, it was one of those things. Yeah. And then another thing, luckily, was a more funny one. I'm up to 7 minutes. A more funny one, in a way, was I'd been doing inspections, so I'd been off to Geneva and different places this week. Anyway, and doing inspections because of the health and safety thing that I'm helping out with right now. And came home in the evening, and because there was a lot of the hay fever going around and so on, I had actually brought my normal glasses with me, because I thought if I really have to take off the contact lenses, I would like to have my glasses with me. So once I got home in the evening, I couldn't find the glasses anywhere. And the person that I had traveled with, and in case you're wondering, we're traveling with a 2 meters difference. It's a little bus. I'm sitting basically in the trunk, the boot, whichever country you're from, way in the back. The person's driving in front, and we're far away from one another. And I called her up and asked if she could check in her car. So she did, and she said, no, there really isn't anything in there. Went back to the office. And then I thought, well, we had managed to get back from Geneva early enough that I was able to go for lunch. Not at my usual place, because that is being cordoned off so that no people can go and sit, too many people sit in the tables. But there was an isolated bench that I go to in the woods, which nobody seems to go to. It's pretty bad shape, actually. And I said to Mrs. DC, that's the only place that I had the bag as well with me, which could have, maybe, who knows. So we went after supper and walked towards the bench. And lo and behold, my glasses so the case was on the bench and placed in a way that probably they had fallen out of the bag, under the bench, who knows. And somebody must have seen them or what, and placed them on the bench, very nicely placed, very straight and everything. Not the way they would have probably fallen out of the bag. So that was a good thing, because my glasses cost a small fortune. My eyes are just so bad, and they're made so they're very thin and not don't look like the bottom of a beer or Coke bottle, as we used to say. And so that was a relief. That really was a relief. Anyway, so at what time is it now? It's 3:25 in the afternoon here. So at 1700, so 5 p.m., we have we call it an apéro, but which would mean basically happy hour. with the kids at 5 p.m. So there'll be Steffi with the grandchildren and the two boys each in there, because it's a complicated thing right now. First son of DC, he's living, I have mentioned it before, but because of different situations with the mother-in-law, who's a very, her health is a problem right now. So they've separated actually on the floors who lives where right now. So they are quarantined. So my son, he sees his own children just like over the balcony and so on. I really pity him right now. His own children, his wife, of course. So yeah, so that's why we're actually, so my two sons separately, my daughter-in-law with the kids, and so we're going to have a chat around 5 p.m. So looking forward to that, yeah. Yeah, so a lot is going on. I mean, we're just learning also how to probably go at things slower in a way. Yesterday, well, after work, I went and did the shopping. What I am noticing actually now, there seems to be less vegetables, fresh vegetables, I mean. And we do know that there's problems with the farms and all the vegetable growers and so on, because they don't have enough personnel right now. Usually the personnel came from abroad, and they're not having them. So I think there's issues actually all over the world, and for vegetable produce. We're not out of food, far from it, and I mean we have good stuff, but they're just missing out on things like that every now and then. So since you don't want to go to the store more often than not, well, you do with what you have, anyway. So, how am I getting along with that? I think that, oh my goodness, yes, 12 minutes. So, I guess that'll be it. So, DC will be signing off. Take care, everybody. I hope you're all well. Sorry that this went on so long. I just felt like chatting, I guess. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.